In all types of fishing, accuracy is one of the most important skills that you can learn, and if you can master that, there is no doubt that you will put more fish on the bank. I'm going to run you through 5 tips today that will help you achieve that. So first up is don't forget your marker float. It's really important when you start off a session to find the spot that you're going to try and fish accurately to. So I would typically start off by using a bare lead to do that. What that means is if there's any weed or snags out there that you don't know about, not only are you going to hopefully not have to drag all that in, but if the worst case scenario happens and you do get stuck in that, you're only going to lose a lead and not the whole marker float setup. So basically start with a bare lead, find your spot, and once you have found that, then you'll use your marker float. And this is a really important aspect of fishing accurately, because this will tell you the depth of the water out there, but also it gives you that really nice obvious visual marker that later on you can cast your other rods to and make sure that they are landing right on the money. So next up, I would say wrap up, clip up and take note. What I mean by that is once you've found the spot, put some bank sticks out or some distance sticks and wrap your line round that, and then you'll know exactly how far out into the lake you'll be fishing. It's really important to know that for maintaining a consistent distance, and that will help as well when it comes to baiting up as well. Once you've got that distance wrapped around the sticks, obviously the key thing is to put it on the line clip on the reel. And really importantly is take note of that and just write it on your phone or on a bit of paper. Whatever you do, don't try and remember it in your head, because especially when you're fishing, if you might be fishing 3 different spots, it's so easy to forget which rod is which distance, and before you know it, you've got your right hand fishing the distance the left hand rod should be fishing. So make sure you take note of it so that you can refer to that throughout your session. Next up, I would say it's really important that you find a comfortable casting position in your swim, and that will allow you to repeatedly and consistently cast to that spot. You know, if you've got 1 foot down the bank, 1 in the lake, if you're leaning awkwardly, you're not going to be able to fish accurately and consistently. So find a nice comfortable spot. It doesn't have to be right on the edge of the lake, it could be in the middle of your swim, but somewhere that you're going to be able to replicate that cast time and time again, which will help no end achieve nice accurate fishing throughout your session. So my next tip is use markers, and what I mean by that is horizon markers, but also what you don't often hear people talk about is floor markers as well. So these 2 things will really help your fishing in terms of accuracy. When people refer to horizon markers, it's often like a tall tree or a telephone pylon or something on the horizon line that you'll be able to see and aim at throughout the session. Importantly as well, you have to consider that you might be catching fish throughout the night as well. So tall trees that stand above the horizon line are going to be visual all through the night as well, which can be a really nice bonus. That's not always possible, and obviously don't change the spot. The most important thing is the spot. If there's not a horizon marker on the spot you're fishing, don't try and find a different spot. The most important thing is to fish the best spot, but if you can, utilize horizon markers. The other thing is floor markers. So like we just said in the previous one about a comfortable casting position, when you're fishing accurately, you need to make sure you're standing in the same position in the swim every time you cast. So I'll sometimes just put a tent peg in the swim, and that will be where my foot touches, and then I can, every time I know if I'm standing there and I hit that clip, it is going to land on that same spot time and time again, and that's where my bait is, and that's where hopefully the fish are. So yeah, use the markers you've got available to you, and that will make a big difference in your fishing. My final tip is about the actual gear you bring with you and you're going to use for your session. We're down here at Linear Fisheries today, and we weren't sure what lake we were going to end up on, and that also meant we weren't sure what distance we were going to end up fishing. So it was important for me to bring a rod or a setup that's going to allow me to cover all different types of fishing that I might be doing up here. So I've got with me today the Longbow X45M carp rods, and I've got those in a 4-pound test curve. These rods are based on the renowned Magnum taper profile, and they feature all of the latest rod building technologies from Daiwa. They are built and designed for fishing at long range and for fishing accurately, which makes it the perfect tool for this topic. I've got these rods paired up with the brand new Emblem 45 SCWQD reels, and the other really important thing is I actually brought 2 sets of spools for that reel. One's got 15-pound line on and the other's got 10-pound line on. So the spot I've ended up fishing is just under 100 yards out. So I've fished, at the moment, I've opted for the 15-pound line. That's letting me really nicely, comfortably hit that spot. But we are forecast to get a change in the weather later, and it's supposed to get really windy, and actually it might be quite a strong crosswind. And at that point, what I might do is switch to the 10-pound line and a shock leader, and that will mean that thinner line will cut through that wind a little bit better than the 15-pound line, and it will still enable me to fish accurately and on that spot repeatedly, hopefully where the bait is and where the fish are. So I hope those 5 tips have been useful, and hopefully you can apply those to your own fishing and you'll see the accuracy improve and you'll see the results improve as well.